Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Jack and Glenn channel. Before you get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews. Tonight, we're reviewing Ready to Love, season 11, episode number 4. Right? Hey, it's the women, and the women are in charge, right? The women enter into the ladies' lounge, right? They enter into the lounge, and Tommy says this. He explains that the ladies' lounge is a safe haven for discussing connections. He reminds them of the golden rule. What happens in a lounge stays in the lounge, right? This week's assignment is for the women to take the men to their favorite Detroit spot, right? That means the most to them, right? Taking them to the favorite Detroit spot, that means the most to them, to see if they can picture the men fitting into their world long term, right? At the end of the week, Tommy tells the women that they are in charge and they will decide who is and who isn't ready to love, right? Here it is. First up, we got Dominique. Dominique hosts a dinner party. Hey, she invites Devin, Christina, Chris, and Bellow to her home for a double date where she plans to serve oxtails. Even when my man Bellow walks into the door, right? She immediately kisses him upon his arrival, and she called it natural and real, right? It is natural and real. She hugs on him, kiss on him. It was like, yeah, that's what's up. Hey, these two have a connection, whether you like it or not. They got a connection. Whether you think it's real or not, they got a connection, right? She hugs on him and kisses on him. Remember, I laughed because she didn't want to kiss Devin at the mixer, but she's willing to kiss Bellow real quick when he comes to her house. Hey, enough said, right? Dominique cooks some oxtail, which Bellow says he's a self-proclaimed oxtail connoisseur, right? Christina knows that Dominique seems to be more catering to Bellow, right? This meal is more catered to Bellow and what Bellow wants. Hey, but she said like this, hey, she's in for it, right? Whatever she wants, she likes Bellow as well. And challenge, right? The challenge is on, competition is on, because they both like the same man. All right. We see Chris and Christina, they steal away a little bit, they slide off and have a private conversation. Christina opens up about being teased as a child, right? And being called pig and pudgy. Which forced her to develop other skills in life, other than just about looks, right? Chris shared that he also had some issues in high school, or had some issues in school. He had a gap issue. He also had a hair issue, and he talks about how it humbled him and led him to be the man that he is now. They both bonded over the similar upbringings. This relationship can and cannot work. Y'all let me know what you think, right? Then we saw Dominique and Devin have a good chat in the kitchen. To me, Devin seems a little bit real flirtatious, right? Real flirtatious with Dominique in the kitchen, always looking for a way in, if you know what I mean. I'm not calling him it just keeps a little bit creepy, right? Always looking for some romance. Remember, he's the one who tried to kiss early and she blew him off. So he's always keep an eye on Devin. Keep an eye on him. She mentioned that they talked about having kids, and she talked about having a family, and he talked about how he wants kids. And Dominic shared with him, look, I don't mind having kids, but I want to be able to adopt because I've already had 2 miscarriages, and it was painful, and I don't want to go through that situation again because my pregnancies they don't keep, right? And she doesn't want to go through that. Devin confirms that he would absolutely, right, consider adoption, which Dominic appreciates, right? I think is beautiful. She noted that she thinks it's a beautiful thing to be able to have to be able to adopt kids, right? Then we go into Christina and Bellow's conversation, which is kind of weird. Christina came off like a gold digger here. Y'all let me know. She came off like a gold digger. She talked about her and Bellow was on the phone for about 2 hours. The conversation felt less engaged, right? Felt like he was less engaged. She brings up a test that she gave the men that she's involved with, right? She said she was sore and needed a massage. One guy said, look, man, this is all I got. I'll give it to you. Another dude said, look, if the massage costs $300, I'll give you $180. She said Bellow responded late, right? Bellow said he didn't even see the message. States that, and then Christina states that Bellow has his non-action made him fall into the weak category, right? Because he didn't give her no money. That's how I read it, right? I read it because he didn't give you no money. Not that he didn't respond to the text, that he didn't offer you any money, because you got one who's going to offer you 180, one who's going to give you what he can, and you want to get into Bellow's pockets. That's the way I see it. She wants to get in this man's pocket. You want him to pay $300 for a massage for you. You feel sore, right? You just dating. You just mixing each up. You want him to give you money. It doesn't come off right. Come off like gold digger behavior, right? Y'all let me know what you think. If I'm far off, tell me I'm far off. But I think it seemed like a gold digger behavior here because she's mad about this thing, right? If the man tell you he ain't got it or he ain't trying to spend it, hey, take it for what it's worth, right? She said, oh, he wasn't interested enough to spend money on her. Not that he ain't interested enough to spend money on her. If he would have said, you know what? How about this? I'm a good, I can do massages. How about you come over and let me massage you? All right? Or how about, can we go do this together? At least he feels he's getting something out of it. Y'all let me know what you think about the massage situation. Then we saw Nicole, right? And Nicole invites Devin to a batting club, right? To play cricket, right? Hey, which he said he never played before. This was kind of cute, right? Devin and Nicole engaged and a lot of flirtatious banter back and forth. He's having fun with the activity, right? Devin joked that his cricket skills were nice, despite being his first time playing cricket. That bat looked like it was heavy swing. I played baseball, right? Growing up, played baseball. Never played cricket. Be interested to see how that can work out. Nicole and Devin have asked. Nicole asked Devin what's his ideal woman, and he said he needs someone who's smart and thinks beyond themselves. Right? We all know Devin's a little quirky, right? A little quirky here. Nicole relates. Nicole relates sharing her passion for leadership and making a change in the different spaces. Right? She wants a man who has some leadership skills, who can change in different places. Hey, I'm not mad. They both agree they have a lot in common and have a strong vibe. Right? They have a strong vibe. Nicole and Devin, maybe a couple to watch out for. This was the date of the night for me, right? Shannon invites Ed, Donna, Xavier, and Darius over to her house, right? A nice little nice place, right, where she's at. She have them bring something that's meaningful to them that they want to share. I thought this was cool, right? Everybody brings something that's meaningful to them. Shannon brings a dilation wheel, which she uses to teach about cervical checks for women in labor. Remember, she's a nurse practitioner. This means a lot to her. Xavier brings a rose from his grandmother's homegoing service, expressing how much he misses her. Me and Jack laughed because we watched this together. You're like, well, she gave it to me at her funeral. Bruh, if you at her funeral, she ain't give it to you. I know he misspoke, but it was funny how he said she gave it to me. We looked at each other like, she gave it to you? Somebody might have gave it to you at her funeral, or they gave it to you, but she didn't give it to you at her funeral. I'm just saying. Right? Then Donna brings a pom-pom, right? For her time coaching dance, which she gave to the girls as a memory for the dance team that they had, which was great. Ed brings a ninja statue, right? A ninja statue that was sent to him by his cousin / brother, right? Who was in the military, who later went on a tour and was later killed. Who went on a tour and was later killed in active duty. Darius brings an item, a dress that his mother sewed, right, and gave to his daughter, who's now, I believe he says 20 or 21. Noting that his mother used to make all his clothes, and which gave him the passion for fashion, right? Said his mother passed away. And Darius broke up here, man. He got emotional, apologized to the group for kind of bringing the mood down. But what I thought was interesting here, Donna saw a different view of Darius, right? And she had apologized. She had apologized for the fact of what she said in the previous episode that he was putting on a front. Darius is just genuine who he is, and she had to apologize for that. And can somebody help me? What did Donna have on in her interviews, right? In her vignettes or her one-on-ones, what kind of outfit was that? Just question. It looked, it didn't look right. It didn't look right. Y'all let me know in the comment section below, right? Donna and Xavier had a talk while they're at the house. Donna finally gets a chance to speak to Xavier about his relationships and has he talked to anybody else? Has he been on any one-on-one dates? He said no. He's moving at a slow pace, right? He states he's slow to move and hasn't had any one-on-one dates. He also says the process has not made him reconsider his slow approach. And she's like, you got to go be involved in the process. And she was upset that he wasn't involved in the process, that all he wanted to do was group dates, that he hadn't called anybody, that he hadn't talked to anybody, that he's just in this one-on-one, is in his own mind, right? And he's moving at a very slow pace, not good for Xavier. Shannon and Ed have a great conversation. There was touchy-feely. He's holding her hand. They're laughing and giggling on the couch. The proximity or the closeness they had for each other, the proximity was great. The energy was great here. Ed shares that he had a speaking engagement early in the week to a nearby high school or nearby school where he talks to kids about his life path, included the fact that he was a boxer. Right? He said the kids always ask the question, "Have you ever been knocked out?" Shannon said, "Have you ever been knocked out?" He's like, "Nah, nah, he ain't never been knocked out." Right? He notes his hands are for protection. He notes that his hands are for protection in cooking. Right? Yo, but as I mentioned, the physicality between these two are superb. These two are making. I can see them together, right? They both. He called her again the Michelle Obama. She had her pearls on, and I kind of. I don't want to say it's offensive, but she's a woman, right? She's very conservative. If you watch the things that she wear when they go into the women's lounge or the things that she are when they dress up, she's a very conservative woman. She's not giving you too much, but she give you just enough that knows she has body. And that's one thing I think I think Ed and a lot of the men like about her is that she's not overly out there like Emily, right? She ain't talking with her boobs first like Emily was. All right, but she's talking with her intellect, her look, her conversation, and that's why guys are calling her Michelle Obama and Claire Huxtable because of the way that she carried herself. Right, she carried herself in a good light. Ed also want to also add. Ed mentioned that he gives some best massages. Right, but you know it is what it is. Then we have go to a cooking class. Right, Ashante sets this cooking class up. You know she is a hairstylist along as a salon owner as well as a chef. Right, she invites a private chef to come in. They go to a private school. Cardi's on this date. Vince is on this date. Lauren is on this date, and they go to a cooking class, right? Where they cooking vegetables, I think is a vegan meal. Um, the chef that's leading the class, right, told them every time they pick up a knife, they yell sharp. And I know Vince is a comedian, but this dude was yelling sharp, sharp every time, every time he picked up a knife. It's like that movie. I got kids, man. Every time the car. I can't remember. It was a Pet Life or whatever case be pets with the squirrel car. Anyway, or the dog said squirrel. And so every time it was getting annoying. Lauren got annoyed by Vince and the joking every time he yelled sharp. But Ashanti and Cardi have a great conversation. I believe it was Ashanti. It might have been Lauren. No, Lauren and Cardi had a great conversation. Discuss, they talk about their passions, right? Cardi mentioned his childhood, and being fulfilled. He talked about he had a desire to get his pilot's license, and he's only 60 hours away from that, right? He already has 60 hours in for his pilot license. Ashanti appreciates that Cardi was humorous, that Cardi was sweet, and Cardi was confident, that Cardi was talking, right? Cardi has gotten more confident throughout the season. And my wife was like, he needs to do something with his hair. I wish Jack was on with this. She's like, he needs to do something with his hair. She just had a select back in a ponytail, and she's like, yo, he needs to do something with that. But anyway, I move on. Ashanti also have a conversation with Vince, right? Ashanti has a conversation with Vince because it was Lauren and Cardi had a conversation. Now Ashanti has a conversation with Vince. And the topic turns about having financial contributions, right? In the 50-50 concept. They show a back scene of when Vince was asked about 50-50. Vince explained that if he provides a comfortable living, right, if he makes $150,000, right, and his partner doesn't have to work, right. However, if she desires a higher lifestyle and she wants to increase her lifestyle, she should be willing to contribute more money or help him grow his business to the $250,000 level. And so they can have a $250,000 income, which I kind of agree with, right? If I'm got 150,000, you don't work, and you want us to get up to 250, can you help just a little bit? Because he don't want to kill himself, right? He doesn't. Yeah, I know he's supposed to be the provider. That's fine. But a lot of men are being the providers and they're killing themselves and don't have time to enjoy it, or they're never home, right? And then that's another complaint about never be home. That's another topic for another day. I kind of agree with the concept that he was talking about, but I disagree with the way in the tone that he came off, right? His tone, his verbiage, I've learned a long time ago, it's all about tone, pitch, and voice. And when you talk about it, have discussions, especially discussions that you're passionate about, you're not trying to offend. Let's have a conversation like adults without my voice raising, without me being aggressive, and the word that Ashanti used for me not giving combative energy, right? He was giving combative energy, and he was kind of combating. She was just asking the questions, and he was getting in his feelings. He was getting in his feelings, right? And like she realized at that point she's not connecting with Vince, right? Due to his unwillingness to listen. He wasn't willing to listen, right? He wasn't willing to articulate himself or articulate things in a pleasant manner, right? And that's going to be Vince's downfall in the upcoming episodes, right? We see Ashley and Ed go out on a date, right? A place called Barkside to meet her a 10-year-old dog Duchess, right? She's very infatuated with a dog. For the last couple shows, Married at First Sight, Ready to Love. Everybody loves dogs. I love dogs. I love dogs. But I didn't know that many people out there dog people, man. But it's nonetheless good. It's good, right? Duchess has been in her life. She loves Duchess, right? She wants to test his compatibility with the dog. See if Duchess like him. Like him. She also want to test her compatibility with him as well, right? It wasn't just about the dog. She want to test her compatibility about him as well. And she likes the vibe that her and Ed are giving. She wants Ed to be more open, right? So he's kind of quiet type. He's kind of laid back. She wants Ed to be a little bit more open. Ed shares that he was briefly married to his high school sweetheart, right? But they grew apart, right? And then they now successfully co-parent, right? She wants good communication, and she wants Ed again to peel back a little bit. She want to peel back some of the layers of Ed and get real deep into who Ed is, right? And she said one thing she said that was key. She said she needs him to show interest, all right, to show his interest through communication. When she's talking, talk back, right? Send some good morning text. How you doing? What's up, big head? All that. She needs somebody to communicate with her on a regular basis. I read in that. She needs somebody to give her some more affirmation, right? Let's keep it moving. Then we see another date of the night. We see Steve invites Ashante, right, to a tie-dye shop in downtown Detroit. They bond over their love for creativity. They both are creative. They had great conversation. He expresses his vision of having a wife who has her own passion, right? He desires to have a family. She desires to have a family and travel around the world and let the world be their place where their kids learn and live. Steven, the relationship was so good, or the conversation and the date was so good. Shanti wasn't feeling him when she first came to the date because she hadn't spent that much time with him. But towards the end of the date, she was like, "Yo," Steven asked for her phone number, and Ashanti mentioned, she's already ready for a second date, and she can go right now. If he called her right now to go on a second date, she'll go. And she was blushing, right? Hey, she was ready to go on a second date with Steven. Thought it was a great tie-dye date. Then we get into the lounge, right? Here's the lounge. Ashante, Tommy, you know how it is. Tommy, the ladies in the lounge, and they debrief with Tommy. And Tommy like, "Yo, who y'all feeling?" Ashante says she's connected to Steven, right? They had a good time and a lot of green flags. She talked about Cardi having a big smile. Nicole, like Devin, says great natural conversation. Shannon and Ashley both said Ed, right? Because Shannon talks about the physical touch that Ed has. Ashley talks about the little dog date and how she needs to open up more, but she's feeling him. Ashley also likes Darius, right? It's because Darius is easy to talk to and he knows how to use his words. Dominique talks about the special greeting her and Bellow had at her house, and a lady never kisses and tell, but I received it. And she was like, "Yeah," and I received it back, right? She kissed and told, old school, baby. Old school. Who they're not feeling? They're not feeling Vince. They're not feeling Vince and Xavier, right? They're not feeling Vince because it came up that Vince has used the B word in multiple conversations, and I want to believe that they said that he used the B word towards Lauren because she was tall. That he used the phrase that she is tall as a bee. Tommy goes in and steps in, man. Y'all let me know if y'all hear that word. We're not gonna use that word because if we ever use that word, y'all let me know. He gonna handle business, right? That word will not be used. Also, they talked about how Vince was physically and verbally aggressive. Not physically aggressive, more verbally aggressive in the conversations, right? Xavier was brought up. Xavier said is given the Unk vibes, right? He seemed like he's an old soul, right? His paces move too slow. He given a vibe that he's like uncle here. He's the elder statesman of the conversation, right? And Tommy laughed and joked to talk about Ready to Love 65. He's just moving slow. It's moving slow, right? Tommy instructs the women, right? They take the men on a date, and two has to go. So we see Donna invites Xavier out for a final conversation. Donna presents the feedback from the women, focus on their 3 points, lack of initiative, right? The lack of initiative, being slow and not being sure of what people think, right? Also talked about how he's blunt, right? His bluntness was perceived as too strong for some of the women, right? And that's not a good look there, right? Donna reveals not a good look there. Well, Vince, and the other person that goes out, sorry, is Vince. They take Vince out as well, right? Donna takes Vince. Donna takes Vince out. I think I got those mixed up. Donna goes out with Vince. Yeah, that's it. Donna goes out with Vince, and I forgot who takes Xavier out. Xavier goes on a date. I want to say it was Ashante. Y'all help me out in the comment section. I got both of those mixed up. Donna goes out with Vince, and somebody else goes out with Xavier. Xavier's talked about being too guarded. Vince talked about the Donna talks to Vince about being too blunt, right? And needs him to bring it down just a little bit and stop using the B word. But nonetheless, Xavier is not ready to love. Xavier goes home and he took it well, right? He appreciates the feedback. He said, "Look, I understand the feedback. This may not be for me, and my love is not here, but I'm still gonna try to find love, right?" He said he's just being himself, right? He's being himself, and he may not be enough for everybody that's here. And he took it with a he took it on the chin. I personally think both of the guys should have went home. I think Vince should have went home and Xavier should have went home. Just for the simple fact, man, you can't be going around calling women bees, and even in the midst of conversation, you're on the show a woman, and that's disrespectful. Xavier just didn't have the oomph that he needed, the excitement, the energy. Plus, he was on the chopping block after the mixer as well, so he should have knew his time was up. Y'all, let me know in the comment section below who y'all think should have went home. And where do you see some of these couples' progression? Who do you like so far, right? Who do you like so far as a couple? Who are you seeing mix up well? I like Shannon and Ed, right? I do like Shannon and Ed. I even like Dominique and Bellow, but maybe Bellow's just the physical. He wants the physical. He wants the booty. But I can see them working out. And I think Darius has a good connection with Ashley. I want to see how that goes as well. Hey, y'all leave a comment in the comment section below. Again, let me know who y'all like as a couple. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews. Once again, that's Ready to Love, season 11, episode number 4. And we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.